What's going on, guys? Jacoborth back here with another video of Jacob's Life in Vegas, coming to you guys today out in the nice warm weather we got here in Las Vegas. My dirty Golden Knights hat and my cool change sunglasses. For the people who ask about where I get my sunglasses from, I'll put a link down below. I guess these are actually normally made for cyclists or sports in general, but I guess cyclists use this a lot, so they work great for me. So I want to talk to you guys about something today that's been going on in the news. I've been following a bit with this going on here with the Oakland A's possibly coming here to Las Vegas, because this summer there's been a hell of a lot that Vegas has been in the news for. There's the A's possibly moving here, Resorts World opening, Lake Mead water levels, COVID numbers here. I mean, there's so much going on in Vegas and so many different things, but I want to shed some light on this one because I thought this was pretty interesting the other day. Saw a good article and I pulled some info from another article that I think some people might find interesting, with the possibility of the Oakland A's moving here to Las Vegas. So go ahead, hit the like button for this video because this could be interesting if it works out. Now, the article I saw the other day that I will link down below for all this stuff talks about how the Oakland A's, are taking the steps towards possibly moving here to Las Vegas. Vegas could be taking another sports team from Oakland. It's not our fault. So it's not our fault. It's an awesome place to be. So that's something that has been, talk lately. And I've seen some of the cool hat designs on social media that might be going around for, if the A's do wind up moving here. So there's some support for the A's to come here to Las Vegas. And the Oakland Athletics president, David Kaval, was actually here again. He's actually been here 4 times now, according to this article. And they brought their designer and architect with them to be looking at stadiums. So they're already thinking about stadium designs and ideas and that kind of thing, where they could put a stadium here in the Vegas area. And actually where I'm standing right now, on the other side of blue-green here, is one option, but not a great option because of all the planes coming in from the airport. But they're looking at different places here around town. So they're here for a couple of days. They brought the designer, brought the architect, and there's about 24 different places they're looking at where they could possibly put a stadium here in the Vegas area. So the A's president, David Kaval, he actually met with casino executives recently when he was here as well. One of the casino executives that he met with was Phil Ruffin, who is the owner of Treasure Island and the owner of Circus. And the reason he met with Phil Ruffin was because Ruffin owns a portion of land over at the north end of the Strip. The Las Vegas Festival Fairgrounds, 26 acres of property, is owned by Phil Ruffin. So that's one option of a place that they could have to build a ballpark. This article said they tried to get a hold of Ruffin, but he didn't return any calls. As much of the valley apparently piques the A's interest. They talked about Summerlin with the view of the entire valley, options in Henderson, which are interesting, and then maybe more of an urban option in the downtown area, like East Fremont, is what Kaval said. Kaval also says that, downtown, the old Cashman Field, that used to be home to a minor league team here, that's also in the mix. But I have to believe when it comes to a stadium location, similar, right, just like with the Vegas Golden Knights, similar with the, the Las Vegas Raiders, those huge casinos that we have here, those massive resorts, they're going to want it to be as close to the Strip as possible. And for their business, it's obviously they have an interest in that, and you can't really blame them because they want the stadium to be close. They want people to stay here on the Strip. They want to capitalize and get as much money from any sports team being here in Las Vegas as they can. So that's why when I hear about stadiums being built and the idea of building like over by the M Resort or out like at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, that kind of thing, most of the casinos, most of the resorts, they're probably going to be very much against that because they want to keep that money close to the casino. They want to keep it close to the hotel so that they can maximize their profit. Now, Oakland right now, what they did was on Tuesday, they came back with a major concession to the A's, where they said that they would not hold the A's responsible for their off-site infrastructure, and that was a cost the team was going to have to take on for about $350 million if they're going to stay in Oakland. Now, the city of Oakland proposed using state and other funding to fill that gap. So the city of Oakland, which we'll talk about their financial mess they're in right now in a moment, but the city of Oakland is proposing using state money, which means taxpayer money. And that was one of the issues we have when we had the stadium come here for the Las Vegas Raiders. A lot of people were not happy with the fact that taxpayer money was used to help fund that stadium. And some people believe the lie that the room tax only applied to tourists, but locals did pay into that room tax. So there was money that locals did pay into for a professional sports stadium. And the argument some people give is they say, well, it's going to bring jobs here to the Vegas area. Well, yes, that's true. but so does, Resorts World, so does a restaurant opening, so does the MSG Sphere. Like, all those things come here and they bring jobs as well, but we don't use taxpayer money to pay for those. So even if the A's do come here, that's going to be a big point of contention, is are they going to try to use tax money to fund any of the stadium? And speaking of money and speaking of funding, one of the big problems that Oakland has been having for some time now, and really it's a problem among the state of California, is just financial management. There's another good article I saw, I'll link down below, that breaks this down pretty well. It says, Oakland's elected officials have repeatedly made financial decisions that have left the city with a debt burden of $2.3 billion. That burden equates to $17,000 for every city taxpayer. Says Oakland's financial problems have mostly stemmed from unfunded retirement obligations that have accumulated over the years. Of the $6.5 billion in retirement benefits promised, the city of Oakland has promised, the city has not funded $1.9 billion in pension and $928 billion in retiree health care benefits. So almost $3 billion of the $6.5 billion, the city of Oakland doesn't have money for. They've promised people they're going to give them all these things. They promised they're going to pay for it, but they don't have the money. And that's part of how politicians get elected. They promise all kinds of great benefits to people, and people see that, they want it, they say yes, they vote for it. But then you can do that for a while, but at some point, like right now, like Oakland is experiencing, you can't do that forever. So the math doesn't lie. You can try to manipulate numbers. You can try to lie about the numbers. You can put the numbers in different categories, reword them. You can dress it up however you want, but it doesn't change the actual math of the situation. And that's the part that where Oakland is in trouble right now. They have all this debt, and they had bad management before the pandemic hit. And then once the pandemic hit them, the situation, of course, got even worse. So the city of Oakland has been spending money that they don't have. And they've been promising money to people and employees that, also that, they don't have. So the other thing too that's going to hurt Oakland big time is, say they do lose the Oakland A's and they come here to Las Vegas. Well, the Oakland A's organization is probably a few hundred people, right? So, they'll lose those jobs coming here to Southern Nevada. But think of the Oakland Coliseum where the A's play. Think of the thousands of people that, when they have game day, that provides an income for, that has an economic impact on. And I'm not just talking about, the person who takes your tickets, you come in the gate, the parking lot attendant, the people who work the concession stands, all those people that are direct employees of the stadium. It absolutely affects them as well. But also think of, when you have to have your law enforcement personnel there, right? Sometimes they're there, crowd control, guiding traffic, right? You have, medics on site, you may have firefighters on site in case someone has, gets a heart attack, gets injured, and a fight breaks out, whatever the case is. You have to have your first responders on site. Think of all the businesses in the area who, when it's game day for a baseball game, they're making a good chunk of money, right? So for some of these places, they're near like a sports venue, bars, restaurants, that kind of thing. That's when they're really making money, just because there's a game going on, people are there for the game. Even if they don't go to the stadium, people will come to the sports bar and watch nearby the stadium. People drink before they go into the stadium, they come and get food and drink after the game. So really that impact has a trickle effect on businesses if they wind up leaving Oakland. Now that effect will actually come here, obviously, to Las Vegas, and will be great for this area because more people will be employed, more businesses are gonna have more revenue. Obviously, with Vegas being such a tourist destination, where people who travel from all over the country to watch their team play here in Las Vegas. So I mean, it's a great place for anybody who's got a baseball team that they want an excuse to come to Vegas. When their team comes to play here in Vegas, they got a great excuse to spend a couple days here, and that's what the Las Vegas area really wants. So we'll see what happens with this. Some people believe this is, the Oakland A's just trying to leverage their position to get a better deal with the city of Oakland. We'll see where it goes, but obviously with Vegas now having multiple professional sports teams, it's a viable option for another team to want to come and move here and, bring a fan base here and even grow a fan base here. So we'll see what happens with this, but I want you guys to know that this is what's going on, where, it may be a possibility. We may have the Las Vegas A's coming to us here in the future. So thanks for watching. Hit the like button if you didn't do so yet. I appreciate you guys all being so awesome. That is it for this video. I am Jacob, and this is my life in Vegas.